Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we are looking at Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team Into the Dark, the start of a new season of Kill Team set on a Space Hawk. So first of all, massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us a free review copy a little bit ahead of time to check out. We've been really looking forward to getting our hands on this box and checking it out. For me, I'm a massive scenery fan. So the idea that this year of Kill Team is going to cover your Kill Teams fighting within a Space Hawk with an expandable modular kind of ship internal scenery range that's going to grow over the kind of the 4 boxes is really cool to me. So yeah, look forward to cracking this open. But yeah, like I say, this is the new season of Kill Team. Similar to the box that we got last year with the Deathcore Krieg and the Orcs, that kind of ushered in the new edition of Kill Team. This is a similar kind of box where we get the core rule book and all the cards and tokens and stuff that we need, as well as the Into the Dark kind of expansion book that lets you play through these missions. I think the big draw is going to be the scenery. It looks like it's fully modular. They all slot together. Looks like the doors can open and close. Really looking forward to building that up. We also get 2 Kill Teams in the box as well. So we get the Kroot Farstalkers kin band, who look immensely cool, and the Imperial Navy breachers, who also look really cool. I like both of the Kill Teams in here. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be really hard to pick which one to paint up first. So yeah, in the video what we're going to do is go through the box, have a look at all the sprues, see what we get plastics wise. We'll have a look through the rule book as well, see how the different Kill Teams play, see what changes there are for boarding actions in Kill Team, and yeah, have a look at the kind of the campaign in there as well, because I believe there's some cool stuff they've done with that as well. And then at the end of the video, hopefully, I'm aiming to have the scenery and the warbands painted up as well, or at the very least assembled, so we can see what they look like in the flesh. Because obviously that's a big draw of this game, isn't it? So like with the other boxes, it is a big chunky box as well. So what we'll do, flip this over, we'll crack it open and see what we get inside. So if we slide the lid off, and we can see it is absolutely chock full of sprues. So I think what we'll do, we'll get the 2 Kill Teams out first, have a look at them, and then we'll have a look at the many plastic scenery frames. So we'll do that to one side for now, and we'll have a look at these 2. So I think we'll have a look at the Imperial Navy breaches first. This seems to be put together in a similar way to a lot of Kill Team kits, where it's a core sprue and then there's an additional sprue with some Kill Team specific parts. And yeah, these guys just look amazing. I've been toying with whether these would be quite usable as Solar Auxilia in games of Horus Heresy. Obviously I haven't built them yet, but by the time this video is out, hopefully I'll have an idea of whether you can, you know, you're not going to necessarily have all the weapon options available, but you know, you should be able to perhaps use them as. I kind of hope they get 40k rules as well. I mean, I guess you wouldn't have an entire army of Navy. These are really designed for boarding actions, but whether this could be a unit you can take in a Astra Militarum army or something, that'd be pretty fun. But yeah, it looks like you get quite a few weapon options on here as well, which is interesting. So there's at least a melter, plasma, and I'm not even sure what that is. Stubber, blast cannon, something like that. So yeah, really cool. I love the style of these guys as well. I think they look really nice. So that is the first sprue. And then in addition to that, you get the kind of Kill Team specific sprue as well. So this contains all the parts that make them unique for Kill Team, I guess. So you get the cool kind of like fire axe, some other weapons in there. I believe they have 2 little robots as well that can follow them around and do stuff. So this is really the sprue that lets you make your kind of Kill Team operatives. And that's the cool thing they've done with this season of Kill Team. Taking these are both new kits, but taking old kits as well and giving them one of these upgrade sprues, so they're fun. The other Kill Team that you get in the box are the Kroots. And I think this is just a normal 3-part sprue, which I suspect we'll see for, you know, Warhammer 40,000 as well. And there's some cool stuff on here that we haven't actually seen in the preview shots on Warcom as well, such as a Kroot heavy gunner. We'll see him later on when we go through the assembly instructions. But yeah, you get 2 Kroot hounds on here. You get all sorts of cool parts. Kroot are a really old kit. I remember went to, I think it was 2001 Games Day. The Tau had just been released, and you got a free bag of sprues when you went in, and the Kroot were one of them. I think there was a exclusive shaper at that event as well. So that's what, 21 years ago, something like that. So yeah, it's been a long time coming, this kit. And I mean, there's so many cool bits on here, like the bow. These are going to be really, really fun to build up. Again, like with all the Kill Team reviews, I'm going to build these predominantly for Kill Team, but obviously I'm sure you can build this for 40k, and I suspect they'll provide rules for both of these for using them in kind of normal games of 40k as well. But yeah, really these are going to be built for using them in Kill Team games, because we've got quite a few Kill Teams now that we can send into the Gallowdark and see what's going on. So yeah, really, really like them. Again, hang around till the end of the video, we'll have these built up and hopefully painted as well to show you. So that is the models in the box. We also have, however, a load of stuff in here. So most of this is the new scenery. So what we'll do, we'll get out the various bits and see how many different combinations of frames that we've got in the set, because it looks like we've got a few different sprue types in here. We'll call out this first, your kind of universal Kill Team template set with all the barricades and stuff, so you need that to play. That's included in there. Right, so if we move that to one side, we get 8 scenery sprues over 4 different designs. So if we put them to one side, I believe this is all fully modular. So the first 2, we've got some quite chunky bulkheads here, and you can see they've got all these kind of like ridges here. I believe that's how these all kind of link together. So you've got these kind of bulkheads here with just the little slidey pieces. We'll slide in them. For painting, I guess you might be better off kind of painting it on the sprues, snip it all out, because these connectors really just going to be slotting in and out, so you're not going to have anywhere to hold it, because you're not going to be sticking it all together in one go. So obviously like the doors and stuff you probably assemble onto there, so I'll have a look while we're going through the instructions on the best way of doing this. But I'm thinking, just initially looking at the pieces, I might paint them on the sprues just so you've got something to hold on to. And then once painted, varnish them, snip them out. You'll need to touch up any details where the sprue have kind of like touched the finished piece. And then I suspect all this stuff should fit quite easily in the box that it comes with as well for storage. And then presumably each box that comes out will have different sets of frames to create the kind of the big exploration of the ship. So that's the first sprue. We've got another sprue here with some more doors and bulkheads on. There's some really, really nice like walls here. These are big, big pieces. So you can really go to town kind of like detailing these and put text on the screens and stuff. Obviously at the time of filming this is probably 3 weeks out from pre-order, something like that, so I'll see what I can do. At the minimum I hope to get a nice kind of battle ready paint job on these for the video, and then I might go to town and add some more detail in. I'll probably paint them in a very similar way to the way I did my Zone Mortalis stuff. If you check out Warhammer Community, I've actually got a guide on there on how I kind of put together scenery, and really you can do a lot of the work with sprays and washes and weathering powders to get a really grimy, filthy look, and then go in with a kind of fine detail brush and do all the details. So you get 2 of those frames. You then get 2 of these frames with different designs of doors, and you can see how these would then all slide together to make different rooms and environments for your kill teams to fight through. So yeah, that's really cool. I'm really excited to paint this stuff up actually. So yeah, we get 2 of those ones, And then finally, we get 2 of this frame, and this is all like accessories and gubbins and stuff for flavour really. Again, it uses these universal connectors to slot into the different pieces of the scenery. And again, I'll be able to show that better at the end of the video. I'll have a play and show you kind of what that all looks like in practice. You also get quite a bit of scatter scenery as well. Yeah, this is really cool. I am so impressed with this stuff. Really quite excited to play some games with it. I mean, the Zone Mortalis range is amazing. This, I think, is going to have a bit of a smaller footprint because they're quite chunky, those Zone Mortalis things. So, in theory, a couple of sets of this, you could do some really interesting games for Necromunda as well. So yeah, so that is the frames in the box. So we'll put them to one side for now. We'll pull back the book and see what else comes in here. So we'll remove that sheet, and inside we have got, again, a load of goodies. Get a nice orange Kill Team dice, bases for everything in the box. We've got the core Kill Team rulebook. This is the same, I believe, as the one that was in the Octarius box, so we'll have a quick flick through that in a bit, but I think it is exactly the same book. You also get the Into the Dark supplement. Again, we'll look through this in detail in a bit and go through all the contents in there, because this is one that we're going to want to dig into quite a bit. We get the assembly instructions, which we'll look through in a second. Tokens. You get a full board. Now, I do notice that in the Warhammer TV video, they seem to have a plastic surface. I don't know if they've used Zone Mortalis, or there is maybe a plastic variation of this coming. At the time of recording, I don't know that. I'd really like to see a plastic one, because I'd be all over that, even if it does cost a little bit more than the kind of card ones that come in here. But yeah, big plain surface for you to play your games on. It's the same dimensions as the Warcry ones, so yeah, that's really nice. And then you also get your cards as well, 2 packs of those. So like with the Octarius one, everything that you need to play is in the box, so that's really cool. We'll move that over to one side though, and we'll have a quick look through the instructions to see how it all goes together, because we might get a better idea of how the kind of scenery interacts with each other by doing that. Again, Games Workshop instructions at the minute are really handy. You get a size guide for the bases, so you can just place them against it to see which size base they are. A lot of the Kill Team kits have got lots of different build options for the models, so again, it might be worth having a look through the rules and decide what operatives you want to have in your Kill Team. A lot of these are quite modular though, so I'm sure you can swap around some pieces, but just bear that in mind when you are building. There might be some variants that you can't build if you build another one, and to get all the different combinations you might need 2 boxes, for example. Most of the time though, the Kill Team variant just replaces a normal guy. So for this guy, for example, you build the Surveyor instead of the Armsman, again with this guy here. So I like the little robot, it's like a Scusser from Red Dwarf. So yeah, these are fairly simple to go together, and eyeballing it, it looks like all of the kind of cool Kill Team varieties just replace normal Armsmen. So for the purposes of this video, I think I will you know, build it as all the different cool operatives that you can take. So that's pretty cool. Onto the Kroot. Here we do see a couple where you're going to have to choose between a couple of builds. A lot of them do replace a normal one, but if I see him, I don't know where he is yet. There is one of them, this one here. So the Stalker or the Tracker, you have to choose which one you build. Some of the other parts may fit in some of the other bodies potentially, but yeah, you just have to bear in mind. I think my favourite thing here is though the Kroot Heavy Gunner with its ridiculous looking weapon. How cool does that look? So yeah, that is definitely getting built. I don't know what it does, but it looks cool. So I'm going to have one in the Kill Team. And then the 2 Krootoks. And then yeah, a lot of this is quite clever how it goes together. So you stick over the kind of like connectors on the doors. You don't glue the kind of like bit where the door joins it. So then it's hinged, you can open and close them, which is really cool. Again, a lot of this you can probably get away with building it still attached to the sprue, and then you've got something to hold on to then when you're painting it too. Again, at the end of the video I'll let you know how I in the end kind of went about building it and painting it. But yeah, I think that is probably going to be the easiest way to do it. And then yeah, it looks like it's going to be quite easy to do. So those different bits don't get glued on either, so you've got multiple different top sections. In fact, a lot of this does just kind of like push fit together. So that's going to be really easy. So with a bit of resistance you can probably just pull them out and change the layout of stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this built. So that is a quick look at the assembly instructions. What we're going to do now is delve into the Dark book and have a look at the new rules and how the different kill teams play. So let's take a look at the Into the Dark supplement contained within the box. Essentially this is similar to what we've had for the previous editions of Kill Team. This contains all the rules for the two kill teams in the box. We get some lore about the environment of the Gallowdark, and we also get all the rules to use all the scenery, the terrain, the actual corridors of the Gallowdark itself within there. So let's take a look at what we get inside. So yeah, really cool. The first kind of like 30 odd pages we get some lore explaining what Space Hulks are. Some really nice new artwork as well. Essentially the Gallowdark is an amalgamation of various ships that have kind of drifted together. It talks about all sorts of stuff in the makeup of this. There's Orc ships, there's Imperial ships, there's an Eldar craft. I think there's a World Eater ship in there. And over thousands of years they've all kind of collided together into this giant spacefaring shipwreck, I guess is the best way to describe a Space Hulk. And it's been in the warp for thousands of years, and it's just kind of re-entered into real space. And as such, the various factions of the 41st millennium want to explore it. There's probably some riches and treasure and technology on here. So yeah, the various kill teams are small kind of parties from various factions scouting into the depths of the Gallowdark, trying to see what they can find. And this kind of opens up this story arc for Into the Dark, where the Imperial Navy have encountered the Kroot on board this ship. But there's little things in the lore section that point to stuff that we might see in the future. This whole kind of arc is going to be told over 4 different boxes, and as we kind of delve deeper into the Gallowdark, we'll find different areas to explore. So this lore will probably be expanded on as that happens, which is really cool. I quite like that from a narrative standpoint and from a miniature standpoint as well, because we get to see the Gallowdark evolve, and as we'll see in a little bit, that Gallowdark scenery is amazing. Some of the things that it does mention in here are mutant rodents, giant like spidery things, various kind of machine spirits like demonic entities. It's interesting that we've got a World Eater ship as part of the makeup of it. If you've picked up the second year Warhammer Plus World Eater Terminator, you'll notice that it's based in the exact same basing scheme as the models from this box. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see a World Eater Terminator kill team maybe as part of a future expansion. Obviously it's a Space Hulk, so you know, I'd love to see Space Marine Terminators and Gene Stealers in there maybe. There's mentions of the Eldari and the Orcs, so there's lots of factions that could appear, and we get a few little teasers within the book. We also get information about the Imperial Navy, who they are, and the Kroot as well. So again, kind of expanding out on what the factions are, what they're doing at the minute. We learn about the battle fleet they're a part of. So yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff. It's I was kind of hoping that we'd get a bit of a teaser as to what's happening in the next part of the story. We don't really. It's just kind of about the Imperial Navy encountering the Kroot. I guess as we get to the second box maybe, then we'll start to see kind of like teasers of what's in there. I imagine there's stuff deadlier than Kroot within the Gallowdark, including some sinister stuff. There's mentions of like kind of monsters from times gone by, so yeah, I think there's potential for them within this kind of arc to come up with some really cool stuff, bring back old reimagined models, dog soldiers, all sorts of stuff like that we could see potentially, so that's quite exciting. Like with the other kill team books as well, you've got a number of tables to generate names for your kill team background for them. We get that for the Navy and for the Kroot as well. What's interesting about the Kroot in this is that they don't actually kind of work for the Tau. It's a Kroot mercenary band who get hired out to the highest bidder. So that's quite cool. I'd like to see that kind of expanded upon and see, you know, it'd be ace if you could do a kind of combat patrol of just Kroot in Warhammer 40,000 and have a number of different kind of types of Kroot in there. Obviously we get a few, you know, quite a few different builds of model, but that basic sprue also can just be built as a unit of normal Kroot warriors, so it wouldn't surprise me if this becomes a new unit in 40k in addition to the standard Kroot warriors. I think that'd be pretty fun. And again, names and background for all them. So the bulk of the book will have the rules for the 2 different kill teams in here. Again, this follows the same format as the other expansion books that we've had over the last year of kill teams. So if you've been playing it, you know the drill by now. You'll get your various your list of your various operatives, your kind of special rules that apply, and then you'll get profiles for all the different operatives in there as well. So the Imperial Navy, you get your Sergeant at Arms, and then you get 11 additional operatives chosen from the list. So if you build everything in the box, you'll be able to take the whole kill team, which is cool. The cat and the skull, the Geist skull, can only be taken if you've got the relevant controller for them. But basically, if you build all the special operatives in the box, you'll be able to use them all. There's no situation with the Imperial Navy that you're not going to be able to use a certain loadout, with the exception of maybe the heavy weapons. You know, you get 3 heavy weapons, you're going to have to choose which one that you use really. You could potentially stick it on a generic armsman, because you are allowed up to 2 gunner operatives. But what I did was build all the special operatives, a couple of standard armsmen, and then the gunner with the las volley. And again, we'll see the built models at the end of the video. But no, they're pretty cool. They've got some cool abilities in kind of sci-fi movie / action movie style. They've got this breach and clear rule where 2 operatives essentially get group activation 2, which basically allows you to use one to open up a door and then the other one go through and cover his partner. So that's pretty cool and cinematic, because yeah, moving through doors and clearing out rooms is going to be a big part of this. It's quite different in how it's going to play compared to normal kill team, which is fun. They're also wearing void armour, which is really good against splash, blast and torrent weapons. So against splash weapons, only the target of that shot is affected. Anyone nearby isn't hit, which is really cool. And then against blast or torrent weapons, you get to re-roll a defense dice. So they're quite resilient to that because they're wearing armour suited for kind of like heading out into the void. So that's a really cool ability for them. So get with strategic ploys and tactical ploys. The Sergeant at Arms is pretty cool. He's a bit of a kind of a force multiplier, I guess. He can order an attack order or a defense order for free without having to spend a command point. And essentially that means that he can put down a token on the board, and operatives within square of that token can re-roll a nominated dice result. So they could say, right, I'm going to put a attack order at this point. Everything within square of that point gets to re-roll 2s, for example, because he nominates the value of 2. You do have to nominate that value first, so it isn't as good as re-roll everything, but it's pretty good. You know, if you're hitting on decent values, you know, you've got these Navis shotguns shooting on 3+, change, you know, put the order to a 2, you re-roll on a fair few of your dice, so quite like that. Again, you can do the same for defense, and that lets you do a similar thing. You can re-roll a defense result of that number. So in the case of your 4+ saves, you might want to nominate you re-roll 3s, for example. So yeah, pretty cool. I quite like him. You get a few kind of cool, flavourful things within the kill team as well. So the Endurant, basically the guy with the massive shield, he's really cool. He's got a 2+ save, and when he defends with it, he basically eliminates 2 successful hits. The really cool ability that he's got is that if a friendly unit is touching his base, you can't draw line of sight to him if that line of sight would pass his base first. So essentially he stands in front, the other guy touches his base and stands behind him, and he's like ducking down behind the shield of it, the guy in front. So that's pretty cool. In games of Into the Dark, you haven't really got vantage points, so being able to like defend those kind of narrow corridors and, you know, stick this guy in a, you know, a hatchway entrance and have an important guy behind him, it's really going to add to the defensibility of your team. So they're pretty cool. You've got the cats and the guy skulls. They kind of come in combo with the controllers we'll see later on, but they can do different things. The skull can like fly around and do like EMP stuff and blow up. It can also be used as a the cat can be used as a bit of a spotter, so it can kind of trawl off like a little drone, and then units that it can see, your kill team gets to shoot at them as if they're engaged. So that's pretty fun as well. Hatch cuts is really cool. He can be used to like breach doors or kind of weld them shut. So normally it'd take action points in order to do that. So he can basically increase the number of action points needed to open a door by welding it shut, which is obviously going to, you know, make somebody waste their turn essentially opening a door, where your navy will have the advantage of being able to open a door then shoot through it, or using the ability that we saw earlier where they can kind of tag team and do it. One person deals with opening the door and getting to the other side, where the other person then moves through and gets into a covering position. So yeah, some cool like military tactics, like proper spec ops, kicking down doors and going around in pairs. I think it'd be really, really fun to play with. And then yeah, we've got the Surveyor and the Void Jammer. They are the guys that interact with your various like drone units. So yeah, I think these guys are going to be really good fun. I'm really looking forward to painting them up. I think they've got a really kind of cool colour scheme to play with. Like with the other Kill Team books as well, you've got all your kind of spec op rules, your equipment, all your unique requisitions and stuff that you can pick up as part of a spec ops campaign as well. So really this follows the same format as the other the Kill Team books. So if you've got some of them, this will seem quite familiar to you, so that's really cool. The other Kill Team that we've got in there is the Farstalker Kimbad team. So these are the Kroot, and you get 11 members in this one, so you will have one person sat out, depending on how you've built the box. You've got the Kill Broker, who's the kind of like leader, and then you've got 10 picked from the remaining crew. You can have up to 2 Kroot Hounds within the squad. I don't know why it's not 11, but I guess the Kill Team is kind of just based on number of models, isn't it, in the team to kind of balance it. So yeah, one person will have to sit out, but yeah, with the Kroots, you are going to have to be careful on which one you build. I think it's the Stalker and the Tracker, I want to say, use the same like core body to them. So if you're building them as they are in the kind of book, with one kit you can only build one of them. Now there's nothing to stop you maybe putting the arms of them onto a different body. I haven't tried that myself. Both of them, you know, look like they're designed to be crouching down, but I'm sure there's nothing to stop you from doing that. But yeah, to get all of the different options you will need 2 boxes. There are 2 different heavy weapons as well, so again, you could probably fudge them onto some of the standard ones, but I've not tried that myself, so you might need a little bit of cutting to make them fit. I'm probably going to pick up another box just to build the other kind of crouching one, and then some more of the kind of generic guys I can build as warriors, just so I've got a variety, because the warriors themselves have got a couple of different weapons too, so it's nice to have a bit of a mix of them. Obviously if you're new to it, just build what looks cool in the box, honestly. The good thing with Kill Team really is, because you're picking your leader and then 10 out of 12 models, whatever you build you will be able to use. So yeah, don't worry about it too much. Obviously if you're playing competitively, have a look through the rules first before you decide what to build. I think it's the best option. So speaking of the rules, the Kroot are quite stealthy and sneaky. So with their rogue ability, if they're in cover, they get to retain additional dice as if it was a save, or alternatively they can change a save into a critical hit as well. So that's pretty cool. So they're going to be quite hard to kind of like flush out of cover. Again, we get their tac ops and ploys. The actual Kill Team itself are pretty cool. So the Kroot Kill Broker is your leader, and he can basically nominate a specified target So he's really cool. He lets you retain a successful hit against that specified target. So basically just marks a target and you guys kind of go after him, which is pretty fun. The bow hunter's really nice. He's got a choice of 3 different weapons, ranging from AP1 to silent to splash 2, depending on what you want to do with him. He can also spend 1 AP to energize his bow, which then gives it lethal 5+ as well. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I like the model. It looks really cool for that one. So yeah, we've got some cool stuff. The cut skin's cool. He can basically fight and then fight again if he doesn't kill his target using his Savage Assault ability for a single AP point. Heavy Gunner's got 2 different profiles. You've got the Skinner, which is like a accurate, high rate of fire, lower damage ability. Or the Triambalast, something like that, which is AP1, high damage, but it's 4+ Ballistic skill, so a little bit less accurate but more damaging, and it's got rending as well, so that's pretty cool. You've got the Kroot Hound. Pistolier is quite nice. For 1 AP he can shoot twice with his dual Kroot pistols, which again are pretty cool. They've got lethal 5+. Again, the model looks really cool. He's a bit of a kind of gunslinger. Long sight is pretty much a sniper. Gets silent, lethal 5+. It makes a shooting attack with the Kroot hunting rifle. Enemy operatives are not obscured for that shooting attack, so standard kind of sniper abilities that we've seen within Kill Team. Yeah, they're all really pretty cool. I do like them. You've got a choice of weapons on the Kroot warriors as well. I think, off the top of my head, if you build all the specialists, you've got enough spare models to build a Kroot with each loadout. Obviously, if you get 2 boxes and build the other operatives that you haven't got, you've got a range of different weapon loadouts though. So again, what I do is just have a think about which loadouts that you want before committing to build them, because where the Navy, it doesn't matter so much. The Kroot have got a couple where you're going to have to pick. But they're all cool. You know, there's no downsides to doing it that way. It's just if you want a fully optimised team. And again, we get their Spec Ops rules and everything in there. And then, as we've had with the other Kill Team supplements, we get rules for all the terrain in the box. Now, obviously, we've got a bit of a different environment in this compared to standard games of Kill Team. We're fighting in a contained space. It's on board a space station. There's lots of, not space station, a kind of Space Hulk. You've got lots of kind of corridors and doors and walls, which make it a lot more, I guess, difficult to navigate and less likely to be able to draw a kind of bead on somebody compared to the relatively open spaces of normal Kill Team games. So we get rules to represent kind of the fact that we are in enclosed spaces. So like I say, vantage points are going to be a rarity in this, because at the minute you're pretty much playing on a single level surface with, you know, you've only got a couple of foot clearance above your head until the kind of next deck of the ship's above you. So because of that, movement's a little bit different. So where you'd normally be, so there's like a little example here, because all these walls are kind of going throughout the kill zone, even if you're kind of in range going through it, you can't get to someone. You've got to kind of go around and go the long way. And again, this is where doors and things open up. They're going to be really kind of important strategic points to have, because yeah, if you can control them and open and close them and dictate the flow of the battle, you're going to have an advantage on your opponent. So for an action point, you can just open a door or close a door. Now there's things that interact with that. We saw the guy with the kind of cutter can weld close a door, meaning that it costs you 2 AP to open it up. I think his cutter can also be used to open a door, and it's never more than 1 AP to do it. So I suspect there'll be other things that interact with that, and you know, you can put security systems on them or make it harder to open the doors, or maybe there'll be certain scenarios where, you know, there's a control panel that opens a door where he can just cut it open. So with that, your abilities, like the Navy, who can do double activations and work in tandem, become really useful, because you can use a guy to open up the door and get into position. Now what adds a bit of a curveball in that is that obviously there might be someone stood on the other half of the side of the door, and you're not going to be able to get through them until you get rid of them. So you're going to have fights kind of across doorways. if you've got guys like the Navy guy with the shield standing in the door with his 2+ save, that's going to be very difficult to deal with to get through that door. So a lot of the gameplay is going to be kind of like dictating those choke points and getting you guys into the best position to deal with that. So that's quite fun. And again, you've got lots of kind of sci-fi film elements in there as well. We've all seen cool films like Alien and stuff where they're trying to hold down a location while waves of bad guys come at them. So I think we're able to see some really fun stuff within this season of Kill Team using that. To get the rules for the various kind of other gubbins that come in the box. Again, we'll see these in a little bit, but these all kind of like plug into the walls. Some of them will be things that you interact with as part of a mission. Other ones will be just basically barricades that act as cover and you can vault over. And it's really clever how all this kind of like just clips into the walls of the sections again. We'll look at that in a bit more detail later on, but it is really, really cool. We do get some additional close quarters rules as well. Because obviously on the Gallowdark you are much tighter and confined than you are on a normal battlefield. So there are some rules that interact with that. So for example, on guard lets you put your guy on guard and then do a point blank overwatch. So in this example, say you're stood on the other side of the door, somebody opens it, you can use that point blank overwatch to then shoot them as they open the door again. Suitably cinematic moments. That's really cool. It costs you 1 AP to do it. It does count as a shoot action though, so you can't like shoot and then go on guard. Again, hatchway fighting, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the battles will be kind of through hatchways as you're trying to take control of that kind of control point on there. So you've got the action to be able to do that. And then we're on board a spaceship. You need to be a lot more careful with your gunfire. It kind of reminds me of the bit in Aliens where they gather together all the ammo for the pulse rifles because, you know, they don't want to breach it. We've got a similar kind of situation here where you're going to have to be more kind of careful with your shots. So if an enemy is going through the base when you draw a line of sight, you reduce a dice because you're trying to make a more careful shot to hit the right target. So that makes positioning quite important as well, and those kind of units like the guy with the shield who's got a 2+ save and just go in the front, he can act as like a wall to kind of take that fire and keep the rest of your guys relatively safe unless they want to you know, reduce the number of dice they get to try and get that clear aimed shot. So that's cool. I imagine we'll probably get more of this kind of stuff as we get different tiles. Each box that comes out, I think we're going to get additional tiles that represent different kind of areas of the Gallowdark. So I'd like to see, like, I don't know, airlocks that you can open and suck an entire kind of square out into space or something like that. Yeah, there's lots of cool stuff they could do with this. And then we get a full campaign and rules how to set up all the terrain. Everything's all kind of labelled to make it easy to do it. There is a guide, I think it was a couple of, there we go. There is a guide, so it does recommend on the bottom of all these terrain pieces to write these kind of keywords on them so that when you're looking at the map it makes it really easy to put it together. And also, I guess, as the Gallowdark terrain range increases with each subsequent expansion, having them all kind of like coded, you'll know which set it comes from as well. So I'll definitely be doing that because it's going to make life a lot easier. And again, we'll see the models in a bit, but essentially all these bits slot together. So they all kind of, there's little locators on each of these pieces and they can go together in like infinite different combinations. It's really quite clever. And then the pillars can be used on the end of some of these pieces to make, again, additional kind of like solid supports for them. And there's caps that go on the top. So yeah, we'll see all that in a little bit. We get a full Into the Dark mission pack. So again, similar to what we've seen in previous Kill Team expansions, we get the 9 missions with the full map showing where everything goes, all the layout, all the different walls and everything. Again, if you've played Kill Team, you'll know how all this goes. Obviously setups may be a little bit more complicated, but by labelling all those different parts, they've made it a lot easier. So it's quite straightforward on how to put it together. It does make life a little bit easier for you. A lot of these are asymmetrical layouts, so they might favour one side rather than the other, but then it's all about the narrative really, isn't it? So yeah, lots of missions to play through. We do shortly get another set of missions, but before that there's a full kind of like campaign system in here, the Gallowdark Expedition. So basically you and a number of friends will be able to play through a series of missions as you explore the Gallowdark itself. You've got someone acting as like the games master, and they'll use a deck of cards to represent what kind of resources are in each kind of section of the ship. So there's a map on the next page. You've kind of got like a procedurally generated Gallowdark with different resources in different areas as your various kind of kill teams start exploring it. So I think that's really quite fun. I can certainly see myself doing that. I think this is something that they might expand on during the run of this year of Kill Team as well. And there's lots of different things that the Games Master can do, or the Campaign Master as they call it in this, to mix things up. Various commendations that you can get, lots of special rules and twists that mix things up a little bit. So I think this is going to be really, really fun. And then for people who like match play, we get another 9 mission deck, and these are all symmetrical mission layouts, which make them particularly suited to match play, which is, again, a lot of people play. It's something that they're kind of interested in, and this will allow you to kind of do those more tournament-based games. They can be played under any mode of play. There's no reason why you couldn't play these as part of the campaign that we looked at, but they are particularly designed for match play missions. So if you are into competitive Kill Team, yeah, this is definitely something you're going to go for. So that's good to see. And then the same as the other Kill Teams, you get some sheets in the back to record your Kill Teams, and then a nice little handy reference with all the labelled pieces of scenery as well. So even if you don't put the lettering on the bottom of it, you can use this to refer to what goes where. So yeah, that's really cool. And here's a look at some of the assembled Gallowdark terrain, and it is so cool. The first shout out really is going to be all the doors can be opened and closed, which is ridiculously cool. So yeah, they can all be manipulated, and all this stuff kind of like clips together. You don't have to glue it all in place. So say for example I wanted to add this wall, the little locators, these caps come off and you just slide the wall into the correct place and then pop that onto there and it locks it all in place. Say I wanted to have a slightly longer wall on that though, I could take maybe this section, pop that off, remove this little kind of like corner piece, then that can go on top, that clips in, and again this is just like infinitely expandable. There's some cool little bits, so if you want some like overhead railings, again I could just pop that off there, stick that in there, pop this little cover back onto it, and again it locks it all in place. And it's let's just put that in there. It's all very kind of sturdy as well once it's all clipped together, so considering there's no glue in that, that's really cool. We'll have a little closer look at one of the individual pieces, and they are very nicely sculpted as well. Again, we've got the full door that can be kind of, basically the hinge kind of glues on, is if you leave it so the door can open and close, that can be interacted with. You could, I suppose, put little magnets in if you want that to kind of lock a bit more than it does, but for gameplay wise they stay where they need to stay. So yeah, really impressed with that. Now I did say earlier in the video I'd probably paint it still attached to the sprue. Changed my mind on that. I think in hindsight it's easier to just build up these pieces and then you can paint them all individually. Realistically, I'm probably going to spray it black, kind of zenithal spray, Mechanica standard grey, painting all the metal work and then wash it all down. You could go to town and spend hours painting it up, but there's an awful lot of scenery in the box. You know, this is like just a small fraction of all the stuff that's in there. I think you get, off the top of my head, about 16 different walls, and then you've got all the different like kind of half walls and scenery bits and little things like engines and stuff. Yeah, really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all kind of goes together with the other sets in the future. I think that's one of the coolest elements of this, the fact that it's like fully expandable and then we're going to add additional pieces to it. One of my favourite bits is there's like here, if we take this off there, a bit of a kind of like falling pipe on there as well. So yeah, there's lots of cool stuff they can do with this. And I love how you can just like put it together in like multiple different layouts. Obviously all the missions will tell you how to do it. but playing like Necromunda or Zone Mortalis or something, you can get it going, like, you know, really nice stuff you can do with it, different size rooms. You can see a lot of people playing Necromunda and using this for the games. Speaking of Necromunda, I've actually got a Zone Mortalis tile. Now, the spaces on the board, if we can see here, actually correspond. Each big square on there corresponds to 4 squares on the Zone Mortalis tile, give or take. So the stuff it doesn't like lock in like the official Zone Mortalis stuff. However, the boundaries of each room still kind of work on a Zone Mortalis tile. Obviously it's going to move around, it's not going to lock in like the Zone Mortalis stuff does, but if you do want to use it for Necromunda and the like, let's spin it around that way, you might be able to see it better. Each kind of room's individual boundary will still be contained by it, so that's a nice touch that the dimensions are the same. It also means that potentially you could use this in conjunction with some Zone Mortalis stuff as well. That'd be pretty fun. Roughly the board that comes in the box is the same, is a little bit bigger than 4 Zone Mortalis tiles. Ideally, what you'd want to do if you were playing this on Zone Mortalis tiles rather than the Kill Zone tile is 6 Zone Mortalis tiles, and then don't use the last 2 kind of like rows of squares at each end, and I think that then gives you the same space as this board. Obviously for people who just bought the box, yeah, the board's perfectly fine to use as well, but I know some people are interested whether it fits on the Zone Mortalis, and yes it does, kind of, but it doesn't lock into the spaces, but it is the same dimensions as these, so yeah, 4 of them is basically a Zone Mortalis. Each quarter of this board is essentially a Zone Mortalis, so that's good to know for anyone who wants to use it for games of Necromunda. And finally a look at the assembled kill teams themselves. Not had a chance to paint these yet, unfortunately. The terrain took a little bit longer to build than I first anticipated. It's really fun though, and yeah, these guys are amazing. So I'll have a look at a couple of these in a bit more detail. So we've got the Kill Broker, who looks really awesome. Considering the old Kroot are like 20 plus years old now, these guys are a massive kind of improvement over them. Obviously with the plastic kill hounds as well, they're very cool. I'd have liked to have seen a Kroot Ox. I'd love to see like an expansion pack or something that includes one, because these guys are really nice. One of my favourites is this guy with his bird. Again, really nice models, loads of character. Like I say in the review, they're not necessarily Tau Kroot, these guys are just mercenaries. Another one of my favourite models is the heavy weapon guy. He's really cool, so the choice of 2 different heavy weapons that you can give this guy. But yeah, he's very nice. Pistolier is another cool model. Where's he gone? This guy here, very bounty hunter like, drawing his second pistol out as he gets ready to shoot somebody many times. We've got like a sniper, he's very cool. We've got the bow as well, that's a nice model. So yeah, some really nice models in the kill team, and I think even like Tau players just wanting to add him to their existing Tau army, like I say, I'd quite like to see these get expanded into their own little faction for 40k as well. And finally the Imperial Navy breaches, again really nice model. So if we just pull these out of shot and have a look at some of them. I've started base coating these up, ready to paint them, but they are really cool models. The guy with the shield is going to be one of my favourite ones. Gameplay wise he's really cool, but the model's ace too. Argument to be made for keeping the shield separate to make it easier to paint, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Heavy weapon builds a couple of different options as well. So I've gone for the kind of las weapon there. Again, really nice model. There's a bit of a kind of 30k vibe to these models as well. Like the guy with the axe, if I can find him, really looks like there's a similar unit in 30k Horus Heresy that has kind of like heavy armoured Solar Auxilia with axes. I think these would work really well for them. Obviously you can build the full squad just as generic Navy with their boarding shotguns, so I do wonder if we'll get rules for these in a Astra Militarum book at some point in the future, maybe. But yeah, there's some really, really nice stuff. Grenadier in his kind of more heavy armour. We've got the kind of guys who control the various bots. And then their little scutters, I guess, for want of a better word, for any Red Dwarf fans out there. So they're quite cool. Little kind of like servo skull that flies around and explodes. And then the little tracked kind of cat that kind of scouts out enemy positions. And then we've got the guy who kind of cuts open doors with his little chainsaw there. And then the squad leader. And again, a lot of these models have got different ways you can build them. There's a number of kind of helmetless heads too. So yeah, there's some really fun stuff you can do with them. So that was a look at the new Kill Team Into the Dark box. Really, really cool set. Well worth getting. But the scenery is phenomenal. I think that's my favourite part of the set. But the two kill teams are really, really cool. The rules for fighting within the Space Hulk are cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of where this storyline goes and how they build on this with the other kind of interlinking boxes with compatible scenery. I think that's a really, really cool idea for the game. So yeah, so massive thanks to GameSwitch for sending us this to have a look at. We've got a companion piece over on the website where I go into a full kind of like deep dive into the rules and the various kill teams and go into a bit more detail rather than this video be like hours and hours long. So yeah, there's a full companion written article for that. Andy has also written a review on the new Kill Team Annual 2022. That is out. That's pretty cool. That contains rules for a number of different kill teams and some new like multiplayer rules and really cool stuff. So he's going to write up on that. That's also up on the website. I'll link both of those into the description. If you'd like to support the site, we've got an affiliate link with Element Games. That's in the comments. If you use that, we get a little bit of a kickback, which helps run these videos, and you'll save some money ordering it through Element too. Finally, if you've enjoyed this video, we do a number of unboxings and reviews and battle reports and painting videos and all that kind of cool stuff. So why don't give us a subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and then be notified when we put out new content. So yeah, until next time, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.